What's up? Welcome to Wine School. I'm Mike, and I'm here with Karl, and we are at Wolf Mountain Vineyards, and I'm going to butcher this.
Dahlonega, Georgia.
Dahlonega, Georgia. And this is just north of Atlanta, about like maybe an hour north of Atlanta. And Karl, you guys are growing a whole bunch of really interesting varietals here, making some fantastic wine. Tell me a little bit about the Georgia wine industry. Tell me about what you guys are doing.
Still in its infancy, although Georgia was one of the first colonies to have wine as part of the trial. Didn't work so well in the early days because they planted in the low country. We now know that you can only grow fine wine grapes in the northern Georgia mountains.
Is there like an altitude?
Well, there is. It used to be 1,000 feet. Now we're at 1,800 feet.
Okay.
And we still have disease pressure from Pierce's disease, which can kill the vine in 2 years. So further south, you can't grow grapes. Over the mountain, you're another 500-600 foot elevation. You can't ripen Cabernet Sauvignon.
Higher, you mean?
Well, it's 30 days shorter growing conditions because it's colder. So we have kind of the best possibility, even on the East Coast, for Cabernet Sauvignon. And we've shown that with some of the great awards we've won in competitions in California.
Yeah. Well, and we had some of the Cabernet earlier, and it was just magnificent. But what I think is amazing is what you're doing with the sparkling wine. So you got to talk a little bit about that. That's such a great project.
You don't do this if you don't absolutely love sparkling wine,
right?
Because it's so labor intensive, and the cost benefit is just not there.
And we're standing in the riddling room, right?
Well, we are, because the racks are over here. But I happen to love sparkling wine and have grown up loving champagne, and so many trips to California, meeting the Mourvedre Rose, the wonderful houses there, and in France. Really kind of focused on Prairie Jouette, which is my favorite style out there.
La Belle Époque.
Oh, Belle Époque. And we stayed there and had a wonderful chat with the Mourvedre Rose on techniques and things. Came back saying, you know what, nobody else in Georgia is stupid enough to do this. So I'm going to make sparkling wine in Georgia.
I'm stupid enough.
There you go. Hey, but the other interesting thing is, based on our clay soil here, and the indigenous pine trees, the soil is naturally a little more acidic, so it's absolutely perfect for champagne.
Yeah.
And so we set out to do a small production, and did about 100 cases, and then moved on to 2, 3, 4, and we're now at 1,000 case production with 5 styles. And we really have kind of identified that our style is not the heavy French yeasty finish.
Yeah.
More so, it's light and elegant, crisp and totally dry. So ours are mature to the bottom end of Brut.
Yep.
So about a 0.4 residual sugar and nice crisp acidity and beautiful floral notes and flavors from the actual fruit, which is not covered up with dead yeast.
Right, and the gamut too of Blanc all the way up to a pretty dark rosé style too.
Yeah. Good rosé. Best in class, Los Angeles International. You can't beat that.
I tell you what, I am a big fan of the bubbles, and everything that we had today was it was spot on. And I really liked the fact that it was fruit forward, but not in your face fruit. It not covered up with a lot of bread. I mean, it was just clean and crisp. Really great sparkling wines all around. I really enjoyed all of those.
After 45 years of running resorts, hotels, and private clubs, I was always on the other side of this wine isn't good with food. Why would I put it on my wine list? So I make all food-friendly wines.
Yes.
And the goal is to set out to have quaffable wines that are totally enjoyable and yet present, if I had to say, more of a European flair than a California flair. Our weather conditions change from year to year.
Sure.
California, that consistency.
Nope.
They came up with the idea of varietals in the 60s. We can't do that.
Right.
So we do the European style of blending, and every one of our blends take our still wines, Chardonnay Viognier blend for the whites.
Yeah.
Unique because the floral aspect of the Viognier just adds total complexity to a Chardonnay.
Yes.
Do a stainless version, do an oak version, and then what you and I enjoyed was the Mourvedre Rose style.
I love that. That was by far my standout wine. But tell me about the Tannat, because the Tannat is a really interesting story. And I like this theory here.
You have to figure out what grows in your area.
Yep.
As much as I love that rosé, it's a rosé now because we can't make a characteristically correct Mourvedre red. It can't hang long enough, it rots before it finishes, so we pull it off early. Now, it also is disease prone. So as it died, we said, what are we going to plant in that position that's more hardy and that can give us another blending characteristic that we currently don't have? Boom. Cohort region, southern Bordeaux, Tannat. And you read the write-ups on it, it's this, it's that, it's this, it's like, oh, that's made for us. Didn't know, planted, got about 1,000 vines now, we'll end up with 2,000 vines shortly. And it is gangbusters. It just gives you a total way to enrich a red wine blend.
Yep.
And yet not have it be so varietally precise that you got people guessing. And the complexity is what we also add in order.
It's a little bit of a crapshoot. Like, hey, let's go plant some Tannat and hope it works out. But I think it worked out marvelously.
Well, for us, it's the sleeper. We have had great success with Touriga Nacional.
Yes.
The Cabernet, again, you further south you can't grow wine grapes, further north you can't ripen Cabernet. So there's no place on the East Coast can you ripen Cabernet like we have here.
Right here. Are you doing anything sweet with Touriga or any
well,
stuff?
we can't call it port style because we lost the right.
Right.
So it is a red dessert wine, and we do a Cabernet Touriga blend.
Okay, cool.
And we in the
You just let it
past,
hang, basically?
we do, but we can't get the sweetness we want, and we can't fortify legally here until this year. So in the past,
Like that's a Georgia state law?
it's a Georgia state law that we can't have brandy on our property. Crazy. But,
Gotta love the U.S.
this is the old Bible Belt mentality.
Yeah.
We ended up getting it approved, and we can now do it, but in the past, we have had to take the still wine finished,
Yeah.
culture a yeast that can withstand higher alcohol
Oh.
over a period of 2-3 months, and get it up to where we can re-ferment the base wine up to about 17%
So
alcohol.
you chaptalize it.
Capitalize it and go up again. And then you gotta balance it. So, unlike the true port method, which you stop it early with the brandy and you end up with the finished product that you want,
Yeah.
we had to culturally get that done without using the
So
brandy.
now that it's legal, like going forward, are you gonna do it?
We will.
Yeah, way to go
Yeah.
with the Meritage method.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, I will tell you what, this place has really been quite an eye-opener for me, and not being super familiar with Georgia wine. So I would encourage everyone to check wolfmountain.com.
wolfmountainvineyards.com.
Yeah.
And we are an hour outside of Atlanta. Visit through Atlanta. It's worth the drive up.
I will tell you, if you're ever in Atlanta, this is absolutely worth the drive up here. I have enjoyed myself immensely today.
Fantastic.
And so with that, we're going out with 30 seconds of craziness. Carl, thanks again for
My
just an
pleasure.
amazing,
Thank you,
amazing
Mike.
day.